In my time painting miniatures, I've painted in hotel rooms, on trestle tables, in the corner of my lounge, on kitchen worktops, and in my office. None of them have been ideal painting setups. Right now I'm fortunate enough to have a separate room in the house which I can dedicate to painting and hobby. So I'd like to give you a peek at where I do my painting, what equipment I have, what I like, what I don't like, and what I need to improve. Is it the ultimate painting setup? I'll let you be the judge. I think the first thing to mention is I feel very fortunate to have the space to do this. Not everybody is going to have that. If you can, it's worth having somewhere that you can have set up all the time in order to paint. It might just be a small desk in the corner of the room, but it'll work wonders for your motivation. And it means if inspiration hits, you don't have to spend ages setting everything up, tidying everything away, all while inspiration slowly drains. If you can't do that, then my good friend David was running a pretty handy setup on a trolley, which he was able to roll into place when he was ready to go, and then roll out of sight when he was done. Perhaps that's not ideal, but it's a clever solution for a small space. Anyway, let's take a look at my area. Painting area. Don't, and hopefully it sparks some inspiration for you. Or at the very least helps you decide what you don't want. The room itself has 3 desks and various storage solutions. There is a shelf right next to my desk and then some large storage cupboards and my display cabinets. I have separated my spaces for airbrushing and photography as well as 3D printing. This isn't a 3D printing channel and I've not done my photography video yet, so let's leave those for now. We'll look at my main desk shortly, but let's check the cupboards and cabinets. We have things like paint overflow, basing materials, tools overflow, spray cans, boxes of unpainted and unbuilt minis, plinths, bits boxes for kit bashing, and a lot more. When I put this room together, I knew I'd need lots of storage, and without any built-in cupboards, this made the most sense. They're the IKEA Besta units, and you can buy them in a range of configurations to suit your space. I also invested in a couple of Billy bookcases with glass fronts since I was sick of watching dust collect on my minis. And this way, the dust still collects a little bit, but I can convince myself it's not happening and completely ignore it until it's too big a problem to walk past every day. I hooked up the lights here to a smart socket too, so I can remotely turn them on for added pizzazz. My main painting desk is the largest IKEA desk that they do, I think. It matches the other 2 desks in the room size-wise, and all of them are 160 by 80 centimetres and have lasted me through 3 house moves now at least. This main one is IKEA's Mitson range, which is technically a standing desk, but I never wind it up. Actually, I took out the standing mechanism and now I just keep it at a sitting height all the time to match the other desks that I've got. IKEA doesn't do the black one any longer, but it does have a similar gaming style desk called Utispilare, which is pretty nice if you're into that aesthetic. I needed a unit next to my desk for other bits that I use regularly, so I found this sliding door unit in the discounted section of IKEA where they sell off all the old display units. It was just the right size for the space, and the doors meant that I could cover all the clutter when I needed to. In there is my box of corks, my wet palette membrane, a few tools, a box of 3D printed things that I've not painted, and some more hobby boxes of unpainted or partially open stuff. And now we come to the seat. So, for the longest time I was combining my office and painting space, so my one Herman Miller was doing the trick, being wheeled back and forth. Then I split my rooms and my day job offices elsewhere, along with my comfortable sit in it for 7 hours a day chair. So I picked up a cheap duffer from Amazon, which I thought would be sufficient. Oh, how wrong I was. This thing is so far from ergonomic. The seat bottom is completely flat and the fart-filled cushion is as useful as a chocolate teapot. My feeling is that it was designed to simulate a prison bench from the comfort of your own home. The seat back, despite being high for a tall boy like me, is far from comfortable, and I feel like it might be making my posture worse, especially if I'm sitting for longer than a few minutes. Basically, when FlexiSpot told me about their C7 model, it made a huge amount of sense to me to make the upgrade. I had been thinking about a second Herman Miller, but because I'm not a millionaire, I was holding out for something a bit more affordable, but with the features and things that I liked about my high-end chair. So why the C7? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Let me elaborate. The C7 has adaptive lumbar support which conforms to my spine when I sit down. No more mucking about with cushions. There is a super comfy wider seat on this bad boy, meaning space to rest my giant backside for hours on end. It's a win for me and my expelled methane. I have adjustable armrests, which for me is a must. I have quite specific height requirements for those, and my old duffer is just not hitting the mark there. The C7 means I can get the armrest height spot on for painting. And if I'm getting creative or sleepy, there is a 4-level lockable backrest situation. I can bang it all the way back, change the adjustable headrest position, and whap out the footrest. Partially extend it, and we're talking thigh support for my big spidery legs. Or let's say you've been painting orcs for 4 hours, maybe you need a mid-painting nap. Fully extend it and we're laughing. Love it. My Herman Miller doesn't have a footrest, and stacks of the other big brands don't either, and that seems like a win to me. I'm 6'2" and God knows how heavy, and this thing can handle someone up to 6'9" and up to 300 pounds, so assuming you're not an actual giant, you'll be grand. Oh, and they have a 10-year warranty. 10 years. Basically, I think the whole seating situation for most painters is overlooked, but a small investment into your comfort is going to end up doing wonders for your posture and your butt comfort. How do you get a FlexiSpot C7, I hear you ask? Well, good news. Black Friday is fast approaching, and I have it on good authority that there's going to be some discount to be had on FlexiSpot.com. If you want an extra $50 off the cost and you're in the USA, you can use my code ALEXPAINTS to save an extra $50 on the C7 chair this Black Friday. And you get an opportunity to win free orders, so you could upgrade your desk and all sorts while you're at it. I've put the links and all the information you need in the description below. Now let's look at the main painting area. The bit that you've all been waiting patiently for, or skipping directly to, I guess. I have my key working area with cutting mat and most things in reach. I'm right-handed, so this is all set up with that in mind. My paints are all on plastic racks bought from Temu or Amazon, specific ones without screws so that they can be placed next to each other, and ones that through some feat of sheer magic seem to just fit under the highest my monitor arm can go. The brushes, tools and all of that stuff is stored over to the right, although to be fair this area gets a bit cluttered, so I may rethink storing some of these away. I have my gloves, cork, wet palette membranes and stuff to hand here too. My paint mixer, which is a cheap repurposed nail polish mixer, is within reach. My lamp, as I've mentioned before, is a NEATFI task lamp, and I'm sure at some point I'll upgrade that, but for now it's doing the trick. I also have a second lamp here for two things. One, it helps with extra light when filming, and two, when it's on I can see the reflection in my wet palette and I get a better idea of which paints are still good to use and which are drying up. I get that this seems frivolous for that purpose, but I had this spare light when I bought a set of two and it made sense to me. Of course, the other thing here is my mic and cameras set up. I use this for both Twitch and YouTube, and the machine that runs it all is down beneath the desk. For filming, I primarily use this Panasonic GX80 with the zoom lens set on manual focus. It's got a fake battery pack which is connected to the mains for power, and it's running a mini HDMI cable from the video out to an Elgato capture card in my PC, which I then record or stream with using OBS. So that's it, my space for painting. This is where I can sit for hours on end, either building, painting or making content. What do you make of it all? Do you see any areas for improvement? Do you want to know more about a specific thing? Let me know and I'll happily give you as much detail as I can, either in the comments or on Discord, which is linked below. Thanks for coming with me on this little tour. Hopefully it has not been too self-indulgent.